Hello, everyone. I think we're about to start. My name is D.W. Gibson, and I am co-director of a program called Sangam House, which is an international writers residency program just outside of Bangalore. Every winter, we invite about 20 writers from around the world and around India to share a living space together and work in peace and quiet. Sangam House, in just the last year, has also started venturing into the world of publishing. We observe that the nature of publishing is changing at the beginning of the 21st century. Distribution models are changing, production models are changing, and we believe that this opens windows for writers to take back part of the process for themselves, particularly as mainstream publishers' lists become more narrow and more predictable. To that end, we're very, very, very happy to announce that our first publication here is Wild Girls, Wicked Words, translation of 4 Tamil poets by Lakshmi Holmstrom here on stage. And we're very happy that 2 of the poets that are featured in the collection, Salma and Kuttaravati, have been participants in Sangam House programming. So without further ado, I'll turn over the microphone to Arshia Sattar, my co-director at Sangam House, who will introduce Lakshmi.
Hello. It's very strange when you're friends, really good friends with somebody who is your mentor, who you admire, who you want to be when you grow up. And Lakshmi is all of those things to me, and she is also all of those things to Sangam House. So to have the opportunity to work with her formally on what is an absolutely fabulous book, you will see for yourself, is just remarkable. And I thank the universe, and I thank Jaipur Literary Festival for letting us share that wonderful moment of friendship and mentorship and translationship and beautiful wordship with you all. So thank you for being here. I'm going to now pull the ribbon and set this little book a sail, launch it, as it were, and made launch 1,000 words. So. So what we're going to do now is Lakshmi is just going to read one poem from each of the 4 poets in the collection. She'll read in English and in Tamil, and then we'll just see what happens and how much time we have. I should also tell you that we have very, very few copies of this book, typical small publisher problem, but we will be selling them at a discounted rate at the book signing desk. So if you're interested in grabbing the first edition, just come and find us at the book signing desk and you'll be able to purchase a copy of this book.
Okay. Shall I? Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, of course you can. Okay. Thank you, Jaipur, for inviting me here. And I need, first of all, to thank some other people as well. This book has been many years making, since I first thought of it many years ago, actually. And the fact that it sees the light of day is because of the support, encouragement, and input of a group of people to whom my thanks are due. First of all, the poets themselves, the 4 poets who are not here, sadly, but who have been unstinting in their in the time they have given me, either in writing or in speaking directly. And then, of course, the editorial team and my publishers, very especially the incomparable Arshia and the delightful D.W. Gibson. My thanks to all of you. Now, yes, I want to introduce the book very briefly, and the best way I can do that is to read one poem from each poet who's represented in this book. One of the special things about the book is that it's a dual language publication. The poems are face-to-face in Tamil and in English. So those of you who would like to look at the two side by side have an opportunity to do precisely that. So now, although these four women have been bracketed together as women who have written about sexuality and the politics of the body, I really want to read a poem each, which will show how very different, in fact, they are in some ways. So the very first poem is by the youngest poet represented here, Sukirdarani. And the poem I want to read is actually a theme which is common to all four poets in the book, which is to say the quest for a new language which can voice their own perspective and their own themes. And this poem then is called Infant Language. In Tamil, Balya Mori. So I shall read the English first, I think, and then the Tamil. Infant language. I need a language still afloat in the womb, which no one has spoken so far, which is not conveyed through signs and gestures. It will be open and honorable, not hiding in my torn underclothes. It will contain 1,000 words, which won't stab you in the back as you pass by. The late night dreams I memorized, hoping to share them, will not be taken for complaints. Its meaning will be as wide as the skies. Its gentle words won't wound the tender surface of the tongue. The keys of that unique language will put an end to sorrow, make way for a special pride. You will read there my alphabet and feel afraid. You will plead with me in words that are bitter, sour, and putrid, to go back to my shards of darkened glass. And I shall write about that too, bluntly, in an infant language, sticky with blood. And this is it in Tamil, Balya Mori. இதுவரை எவரும் பேசியிராத குறிகளாலும் சாய்களாலும் உணர்த்த முடியாத கற்பத்தில் மிதக்கும் மொழியொன்று எனக்கு வேண்டும். அது என் கிழிந்த உள்ளாடைகளில் அந்தரங்கத்தை தேடாத கண்ணியமானது. கடக்கும்போது முதுகில் குத்தாத 1000 சொற்களை கொண்டது. சொல்வதற்கென்றே ஞாபகத்தில் இருத்திய பின்னிரவு சொற்பனங்களை புலம்புகளாக அர்த்தப்படுத்தி கொள்ளாதது. அதன் அர்த்தங்கள் ஆகாய விரிவு கொண்டவை. அதன் கனிந்த சொற்கள் நாக்கின் மெல்லிய தோலை புண்ணாக்காதவை. பிரத்யேக மொழியின் திறவுகோள்கள் கண்ணீரை விட்டொழித்து கம்பீரம் பிரசவிக்கும். அதில் என் அகரத்தை கண்டஞ்சி கரிபடிந்த கண்ணாடி சில்லுகளுக்கே திரும்பும்படி புளிப்பும் கசப்புமான அழுகிய மொழியில் என்னிடம் நீ கொஞ்சுவாய். அதையும் வெளிப்படையாக எழுதுவேன், ரத்தம் பிசுபிசுக்கும் என் பால்ய மொழியில். I next want to read a poem by Kuti Revati. Now, although Kuti Revati is best known for her love poetry, and indeed her poetry is perhaps the most erotically charged poetry in this collection, but her themes are wider than those to do with love, and many indeed of the 3 out of the 4 poets in this collection have all written poems about the Sri Lankan war. And listen to this Listen to the sharpness of observation, but also the distance, the empathy, but also the underlying critique. It's called Suicide Soldier. Carpide Selvi, you're about to cast aside your own clothes and lock them away, as if they are your body. The mirror sets to right your nakedness, which you wear as your dress. You proceed to assemble your uniform. Your weapons and suicide belt become your body now. Only 15 minutes left on life's crawling palanquin. The leader's command made your heart a bomb, caught swinging in the web held between his hands. You enter the wedding hall. They're all changing places restlessly. Into the last quarter minute in the map of each person's life, there you step. Holding your breath, you scream. Before you yourself are aware, the shock of that blast photographs your blue face for a blinding minute. Then, roaring, your body bursts apart, Selvi. 30 people were sacrificed, it was reported. Shall I read that? And I'd like to read that in Tamil, please. Tatkolai Virangane, Ankaler Chalvi, un andaranga udayai kalaindu, பூட்டி வைக்கப் போகிறாய் உடலாய். நிர்வாணம் உடையாகி இருந்ததை சரி செய்து கொண்டது கண்ணாடி. சீருடை அணியும் வேடம் தொடங்கியது. ஆயுதங்களும் தற்கொலை அங்கியும் அங்கங்களாக இயங்கின. இன்னும் 15 நிமிடங்களே ஊறும் வாழ்க்கையின் பல்லக்கு. தலைவனின் ஆணை அவன் இரு கரங்களுக்கிடையே வலை இடையாகி உன் இதயத்தை ஊசல் குண்டாக்கியது. திருமண அரங்கம் பிரவேசித்தாய். தரிக்காது இடம் மாறிக்கொண்டே இருந்தனர் எல்லோரும். அவரவர் வாழ்வின் வரைபடத்துக்குள் கடைசி கால் நிமிடத்தின் மீதேறி நின்றாய். மூச்சு அடக்கி அலறினாய். நீயே உணரும் முன் அதிர்ச்சியின் வெடி எல்லார் கண்களிலும் உன் நீல முகம் புகைப்படமான நொடி. உடல் முழங்கி வெடித்தாய் செல்வி. செய்தியானது 30 பலி என்று. Okay. The next poem I want to read is a tiny poem by Salma, and it's called Maunaturu. And I just want to say a word about translating it. The last line of the second line in the Tamil is Virindu, and the first word of the third line is Nirambi. And translating that exactly, I got falls, fills. This half rhyme serendipitously fell on my translator's page. And the cue to me was then to use another rhyme, trust and rust, thus bracketing the two crucial words in this poem. So let me read Maunaturu, the rust of silence. While I wait for your words, a heavy silence falls, fills the space uninterrupted. Easier indeed to trust to silence than to trust in words, though silence itself is rusted. Maunaturu. It's extraordinary metaphysical image, I think, the rust of silence. Maunaturu. Solvai enum edirpaarppil இடைவெளியின்றி விழுந்து நிரம்பிக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது திடமான மௌனம். எளிதாகவே இருக்கிறது. வார்த்தைகளை பற்றிக் கொள்வதை விட துருவேறி இருந்தாலும் கூட மௌனத்தை பற்றிக் கொள்வது. And a last poem by Malati Maitri. It's a poem about, lost my page. It's a poem about the goddess Meenakshi. And the story, you will remember, is that Meenakshi was actually a Pandyan princess, and the Pandyan dynasty had as its symbol a fish. Meenakshi was a wild girl who grew up wanting to be a warrior, which indeed she turned out to be. She terrorized all the kingdoms on earth and was just about to terrorize the kingdom of the gods. But the gods then sent Shiva in the form of Sundareshwara, and Sundareshwara then tamed her, conquered her, and came down to rule Madurai as joint sovereign. Meenakshi then, very demurely, became this goddess, standing on her pedestal with a parrot on her shoulder, whispering words of wisdom. But what asks Malati, if one day the parrot flies away, and one day Meenakshi returns to her status as wild girl? And it seems the appropriate poem to finish this reading. So, cast away blood. The full moon on a rainy night clings precariously to the flagpole. The parrot pecks at the light shed by the moon's nose ring, evades Meenakshi's outstretched hands, and flies away. Meenakshi follows, chasing. The chill moon drips mistily upon the stone pavements. Her feet shudder. Her body thrills. She wipes with her underskirt the warm blood seeping against her thighs and runs. Through the corridor encircling the inner shrine, along the 1,000-pillared mandapam, the pet parrot flies to the temple's golden lotus tank and settles on the moon, afloat there. She slips off her underskirt and rinses in the tank's water. Then, an old memory reviving, spreads out her sari pallu to catch the fish that gather around her feet and nibble at her hands, smelling blood. Surprised to see the moon in the tank reddening slowly, slowly, the parrot calls out its summons, Meenakshi, Meenakshi. And here it is in Tamil, Vilakkapatta Kurudi. Malai iravu Paurnami, Kodimarathil thotti kidakkirathu. Mookuthiyil sottum odi kottum kidiyai பிடிக்க முயல நழுவி பறிக்கிறது வெளியே. துரத்தியபடி பின்தொடர்கிறாள் மீனாட்சி. கூதலுடன் வழியும் நிலவு கற்தளத்தில் குளிர்மையாய் புகைய பாதங்கள் கூசி உடல் சிலிர்க்கிறாள். தொடைகளுக்கிடையே வெம்மையுடன் இறங்கு கசவை பாவடையால் துடைத்தபடி ஓடுகிறாள். சுற்றுப்பிரகாரம் 1000 மண்டபம் வழி பறந்து பொற்றாமரை குளத்தில் மிதக்கும் நிலவில் மேல் அமர்கிறது செல்லக்கிளி. உள்ளாடையை அவிழ்த்து அலசுகிறாள் குளத்து நீரில். உதிரவாசம் முகர்ந்து கால்களை மொய்க்கும் கைகளை கொத்தும் மீன்களை முந்தி விரித்து பிடிக்கிறாள் பழைய நினைவில். குளத்து நிலா கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக சிவபதன் அதிசயம் கண்டு மீனாட்சி மீனாட்சி என கூவி அழைக்கிறது கிளி. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you all for being here. Remember, if you buy this little book, you are supporting not only independent publishing, but a chance for writers to have a place of safety in which they can do their work. And Lakshmi will now be in conversation with Ambai in the Baitak. So if you'd like to hear much more from her, why don't you just go over there. Thank you all for being here. Thanks very much.